Welcome to the Horton's channel. Today we are coming from the Classic Motor Show at the National Exhibition Centre, where the first time I did this event was back in 1993, but we've been missing from the event for the last 5 or 6 years, but have decided to come back this year as I've heard some positive feedback from some of the other exhibitors. Well, here's our stand, and as always we have a really good mix of books, ephemera, limited edition art and other such rarities. So I thought I'd just show you around the stand. The first piece here I have is an original Bell Star 2 helmet from 1975. I acquired this about 2 months ago. So this is a one owner helmet, and the former owner kept absolutely everything. So we have the helmet in pristine condition. It also has its tinted visor. It has its helmet bag here, which was an optional extra with his name still written on the name tag. And it also has the original box which he kept with all the paperwork and everything. That's an item I'm really glad to have in stock. Another very rare item is I have the Autocar Volume 1 and 2, which are impossible to find, and these are actually as bound by the Autocar in period. And then as normal on the front of the stand we have our normal fantastic selection of new titles. Most of these have been out in the last 3 months, some as new as maybe a week ago. This is a particularly good title that's just come out from Voiturettes to Formula One, which covers Maserati 1100cc and 1500cc cars. A limited edition of 500 pieces and is selling extremely well. And as always, all these books on the front within 2 or 3 years will be sold out, and then we'll be selling from the back at maybe 2 to 3 times their original price. So as I tell all our customers, the time to buy new books is when they're on the front here before they move to the back. And as we're talking about the back, let's go and see what special items we have back here. This has become a very rare book now, Colin Crabb, Thrill of the Chase. This one's signed by Colin Crabb, who's sadly no longer with us. We also still have as new copies of One Formula, which is the Gordon Murray book, 50 Years of Car Design. 2 volumes in a slipcase, the most phenomenal book. And then we work our way along and we have some particularly rare autocourse. This is 1964, when John Surtees won the World Championship, known as the most difficult autocourse to find. This has the most beautiful original cover. And also another rare year is 1962, again with a lovely cover. And just work our way down here. We have the famous Simon Kidston Lamborghini Miura book, which won the Royal Automobile Club Book of the Year award in 2021. And we also have the sister book to it, which is the Lamborghini Miura Register, an incredible pairing of books that anyone who loves Italian cars should own. And then we start at the beginning of the mark section, and we have rarities such as the Palo Am Press DB4 GT book, which was a limited edition of only 250 pieces. And we have an incredibly rare book, Bugatti 57 Sport by Pierre Logier, which was a book that you could only buy if you signed up prior to the book being printed. So that's an incredibly hard to find book. And then we come back to another new table section, one of my favorite books of the year, Le Mans 24 Hours 1923 to 2023, the most fantastic publication. And we'll have a slight look at one of the cabinets here. We have the Julius Kruter EB110 Last Bugatti Racing Cars book, limited to only 330 pieces, nearly sold out. There's only about 25 copies of the IMSA edition left. All the other editions are sold out. We have the multi-signed edition of Daytona Cobra Coupes with 2 full pages of signatures. 1 page is signed by all the drivers who drove for the team, and the other page is by all the mechanics. That's a particularly rare piece. We have Mike Hawthorne Challenge Me the Race, signed by him, and we have Piloti Sergente by Enzo Ferrari, signed by Enzo Ferrari. And finally, we'll come round to our front cabinet, where we have a new book, a book that came in this week, published by Taschen, and it is the collection of Rainer Schlegelmilch photographs. In fact, all his Porsche photographs. It's called Porsche Racing Moments. It's a limited edition of only 962 copies. 200 of those were the ultra limited editions, which have already sold out. And so in fact, there's only 762, and it's selling incredibly well. So certainly one to be investing in. Well, now we're going to head off and have a look around the show and see what interesting things we can find. So our stand is in the auto jumble, and there's some really interesting stands here. In fact, for most people, it's probably one of the most interesting areas of the show. You know, you can buy you can buy anything. There's models, there's signs, there's all sorts. We're actually here on the setup day, so there's quite a few stands that have closed up for the night. But you can buy parts, as this gentleman is here. And just going to make our way down here and say hi to an old friend. But yeah, you can see you could spend hours just in the auto jumble area, and it's one of the things I like to do. When I wasn't exhibiting here, I'd come here to try and buy some stuff, and you know, over the years I did pretty well finding stuff. So here's a stall holder called Spencer Elton, who's been doing this even longer than I had. In fact, Spencer used to race against my dad in the 60s, so we'll see if we can have a word with him. Spencer.
horse rear in the background.
Can I have a quick word
What for?
for my YouTube channel?
Don't do that because I lost my teeth, look.
No, you're fine. Anyway, I was just saying that you used to, I said you've been doing this longer than I have.
36 years.
And you used to race against my old man in the 60s.
Yeah, he was piss hopeless.
So what were you, it was hill climbs and stuff, or was it?
In 1961, when you're firing a Lotus 11,
Yeah.
I had a Cooper 500, and then I ran a Cooper V-twin with a 1100 Jap engine. But I knew your dad. He was thin in those days.
He was really thin, really thin.
And that's 1961, that was.
But you did a lot of racing in your day,
Yeah, I
didn't
did,
you?
yeah, quite a bit.
So when did you retire from racing?
When my dad slugged me out of the business, 73. My pension scheme ran out.
So what was the last car you had?
Ensign, Formula 3.
Yeah.
Oh no, tell a lie, then I bought two McLaren M10Bs, ex-Keith Holland cars.
Yeah.
One was Keith Holland's, the other was brand new. But I sold them, and then I bought of a Frank Williams in 1973 GT40 Mirage 001.
Wow.
2,100 quid I gave Frank for that.
That'd be worth a fortune
And
now.
my father phoned me up one day. He said, "Spencer, you're turning my showrooms into scrapyards." And now I wake up this morning, there's a bloody GT40 on a trailer outside my shop. He said, "I want it moved." Can you imagine what it'd be worth today? Right?
Yeah, but it's nice to have those stories that
No,
you
I'd
were
rather
there
have
at the forefront.
I'd rather have the money now. Look what I'm doing, selling bloody books.
Well, it's not a bad trade.
That's how the mighty fall.
So you've been doing, how many years have you been
36.
doing the Classic Car Show here
Oh,
though?
since it started. There's only 10 stands when I first did this one.
I remember when it was the Top Gear were involved with the
Jeremy
early ones.
Clarkson, when he was a young Clarkson.
And that was about 93.
Yeah,
so
that's it, yeah. But I did these in 80s. But when I first did it, was only 10 stands.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So you still keep coming back though?
I always threaten not to, but then I can't do anything else in my life.
No, but you have a good
I
you have a
enjoy
good
it.
time. You
It's
stay in a good hotel
Yeah,
and have good
It's
meals.
purely
and-
social, really. It
Yeah.
costs its money, but it's social. I
Yeah.
mean, where else would you meet so many people? You
Yeah.
know? I enjoy it.
well, it's there's
Like
worse.
driving a lorry.
Exactly. There's worse things to be doing. Put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going to continue wandering around the show.
Yeah, don't
Thanks
show
a lot,
till I lost my
Spencer.
teeth. My teeth fell out last week. I did a bike show and I coughed and had big bloody teeth fell out. So I got like that now.
Thanks a lot, Spencer. Right, we'll carry on round. Spencer is a real character. He's, yeah, one of the true characters of what we do. So then you go from the auto jumble area and then you start coming into the club stand. So this one is the TR register where they've got some really interesting, looks like a prototype of some description. They also have a speed record breaking car over there. So yeah, this is the brand new TR sports car, the TR25 prototype by Makina. Interesting looking car. So you know you have an incredible selection of all sorts of cars. So this is the club area where we're walking now, and I guess we'll carry on down to Hall 8, which is where I think there's other club stands, but also cars for sale. So let's head down there. So you talk of barn finds, this is unreal. It's got moss growing all over it. So it's a BMW 2002 Ti, and yeah, this has some serious rust issues. In fact, it's probably only good as a piece of art, but it certainly is that. So here we are in the join between Hall 4, where the auto jumble is, and here we have Hall 5. And actually in 1993, our stand was just down here where this other stand is here. So it doesn't seem that long ago, but it was a long time ago. And when I was talking to Spencer, Top Gear were involved in it then when Jeremy Clarkson was first with Top Gear. And it was a good show. It was a really good show. So let's wander down here and we'll see what we can see on some of these club stands. So I was just wandering down this aisle and I saw this Vauxhall Chevette, and it reminded me of being taken to school. Our next door neighbour had a white Vauxhall Chevette with red interior. It brought all those memories flooding back. It's funny how cars can do that. I can still remember the interior smell. It was a fairly new car then. So here I am at the Citroen Owners Club stand, and I have to stop here because here we have a Citroen Saxo VTR. I had a Citroen Saxo VTS when I was 18, brand new. Saved up and bought this car, and it shows the colour and everything. It was sort of an Alpine blue colour, and it was just one of the best cars I've ever owned. I've had that car in every direction possible. It was just a joy to drive. I sold it some years later to buy a BMW 320, which I've regretted ever since. The VTS was the souped up version of the VTR, but I heard that they had produced a really special edition of the Saxo called the Tour de France. Always wanted to own one, never even seen one, don't really know what the difference was. But yeah, it'd be nice to own one. Should never have sold this car, and all I have is fond memories of it. Found these beach buggies, and I have to say I love these cars. They remind me of the original Thomas Crown affair with Steve McQueen, but also because I'm a huge James Bond fan, For Your Eyes Only, where there's a chase in them. They're fantastic cars. They've become really, really popular. I was at the Quail earlier in the year, and there was a whole section for beach buggies there. So I was wandering past the Mini stand, and you often hear people talking about the size of the old Mini versus the new Mini. Well, it's great to see two parked together. This is a 1979 Mini Clubman Estate, with the most fantastic interior. And this is a 2002 Mini, and you can see just the difference in the size of these two. But further on, some 21 years on, the new Mini is even bigger again. So I think the original concept has kind of been lost. But I have to say, this is a beautifully restored car, and really love the interior. So here we have, I actually really love this car, Rover SD1. I guess I'm kind of a bit biased. My brother-in-law used to be a works team driver for Rover, Peter Lovett, and had a lot of success driving these cars. And he, of course, was given one as a daily driver, even though he was a BMW and Mercedes dealer. But I still think it's a fantastic looking car today. And actually, I think Rover cars overall have been really, overlooked. I mean, here we have, I don't know if this is a special bodied or you could actually order it, factory order, but it's a convertible Rover 75C. You have to say it's a really good looking car. And actually, again, I liked this era of Rover. I thought the design was unique, and yeah, I quite liked it. I've never seen a convertible, but this is a really good looking car. This is a really special bike. It's the John McGuinness 2023 CBR 1000 RRR Fireblade, raced by John McGuinness at the Isle of Man TT. And what a piece of kit that is. Those guys are just so brave. And yeah, to think that the bike's about a few yards from a brick wall, or just incredible. Just heading back to Hall 4, and they have all these Sinclair C5s. I think these are just fantastic bits of kit. I've never owned one, I wish I did. I thought about buying one at Bewley a few years ago, but thought better of it. But they were so far ahead of their time and still really cool looking. Maybe one day I'll get one. This one even has the super rare C5 optional extras, which it had these covers so you wouldn't, if it was raining, you wouldn't get wet. I've got an original brochure for the C5, and here we have the original dust cover for it. Way rarer than the C5s themselves. So as well as club stands, we're now moving into the dealer area, so you can buy all sorts here, from a 360 Spider to Mercedes convertible to a BMW. What else have we got around here? Lots of Porsches, a Peugeot 205. Let's see what they want for a Peugeot 205. It is in really nice nick. 91 205 1.9 GTI, 29,995. It was a great car, still is a great car. Also at the show there's an auction. The auction this year is being run by a company called Iconic Auctioneers, and they have what seems to be a nice selection. We have a Lotus Esprit here and a Ferrari 360 Modena, Honda NSX, one of my favourite cars, Lotus Esprit Series 2 JPS colour scheme. 73,500 miles. Beautiful car with the JPS coloured seats. I'm a real fan of Lotus Esprit. I don't currently have one, but I will definitely get another one day. Let's have a rummage around here. Jensen Interceptor 2, Jag E-Type, nice original E-Type here. Looks completely unrestored. Yeah, lovely patina. Just how an old car should look. Interior completely untouched. And you have that wonderful smell. There's an Audi over here, Audi Quattro, another barn find. Incredible. So it's a 1984 Audi Quattro WR10V, estimated between 20 and 25,000. It'll make a lot more than that, but it's got cat paw prints all over it, and the interior looks in incredible condition. I don't know how many miles it's done. Doesn't say. Be interesting to see what that makes. Ford Capri, XJS, still love this car. Still a great looking car all these years later. James Bond Aston Martin. This was the press car, 2001 Aston Martin V12 Vanquish, James Bond press car number 7. And another hot hatch. During this walk round, we've seen a lot of hot hatches, but nothing better than this. Clio V6, in the right colour as well. Never driven one of these, would love to drive one. Absolute beast of a car. Oh, and a Renault Clio. Another great Renault hot hatch. Renault Clio Williams, that's right, because it had the blue and the gold. Still a great looking car. And an Audi Quattro in slightly better condition. 32,000 miles. In unbelievable condition. Trio of monkey bikes. I nearly bought one of these at Bewley this year, but thought better of it, and a friend of mine actually bought it. Now these cars have done well over the last decade or so. I remember in the early 2000s, they were about 25 grand car. I think now they're about 70, 80. not only road cars you can see here, we have rally cars and race cars. One of the greatest rally cars of all time, Lancia 037 Ultima Mito. And this has a lot of good history. And you can see by its invitations to Goodwood that it's a foremost car. Still one of the greatest rally cars of all time, in my opinion. And look at this engine on it, just unbelievable. With the air intake. Again, never been in one of these cars, would love to be taken for a ride in one. Reminds me of a kid growing up. I was obsessed with Lancia Stratos 037, and there's a Stratos over there. I think it's a replica. It's the Stratos Enthusiast Club, but even the replicas are an incredible representation of the original car. So still we continue, and we're now into Hall 1, another hall filled with wonderful cars. So I was just walking past the De Tomaso stand, and they've got an incredible selection of cars here. So you have a Pantera, we have an orange Mangusta, a beautifully coloured Pantera push button, and then beautiful Pantera GTS in red. Really good stand. Really nice cars and nicely displayed. So I thought it'd be fitting to end on the Porsche stand, seeing as it's their 75th anniversary. I hope that's given you a flavour of the Classic Motor Show 2023, and see you in the next episode. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel.